Just having Mo Toure back and Moses Walker, I mean, what does that do for your defense and kind of how much that is able to change things?
Yeah, it's real nice to have those guys back. Certainly just what they went through last year, being so excited, especially Moses got here just in January and goes through that. It's really hard for a young guy to go through. So they both rehabbed really well. And just to add some depth to that position, which was kind of an issue toward the end of last year, especially keeping guys fresh toward those last four, was key. But those guys are doing great, and I got to give credit to the medical staff and everybody that helped them because, those two, if you don't know, they were chomping at the bit pretty bad to get back, and they did a really good job coming back fast.
You get those guys back. You bring back a lot of guys from last year's defense. You guys were really good last year. What's the next step for this unit in your second year here?
I think consistency. I think last year we flashed at times, especially early on in the year, and then you get into the Big Ten and you got to be more consistent. And I think getting those guys back another year kind of under the defense, learning the communication. I think that's the one thing that's impressed me the most so far. And myself and Coach Gianna were discussing just the overall communication level from the walkthroughs to practice. It's been really good.
And when you have a mix of new guys that are returning underclassmen and then vets that are coming back that have been through this a few times now, what is the dynamic like in terms of the veterans helping the new guys and the new guys keeping to get their feet under the belt?
Yeah, we talk about leadership leading here, and I think on defense for us, those guys like the Mo Toures and the Tyrene Powells, the Deion Jennings, the Maya Nahanatus, those guys that have played pretty much almost 1,000 or more than 1,000 Big Ten snaps. Those guys are now kind of, there's the coaches and then there's your second level coaches. That's kind of them. So it's been great to see in workouts, but that dynamic's really been one of, I think the standard is the standard now. Overall as a program, that's what we're getting to, and certainly on defense, we're pushing toward that as well.
What did you learn in year one, and what are you looking forward to in year two?
Ooh, that's a great question. I would say for me, getting back to calling it. I hadn't called it. I called it during COVID for one game, against Illinois. But getting back to that and just getting in the groove of the game and ultimately staying in the moment for myself as a play caller, that's probably personally what I learned the most. You don't always need to create a TFL or create a sack. And then certainly just the toughness of the schedule. I was on the West. I was in the West for for 3 years with Minnesota. You come over here and we crossed over, but it is a little bit of a different dynamic, just in terms of the attack style of the offenses. So getting used to that and putting together, some game plans and ultimately leading to just being more consistent.
Coach, you mentioned sacks before. It seems like you have a lot of pieces to have a good pass rush.
Yeah.
What can you do to kind of help them get to the quarterback more?
Yeah, I think switching it up a little bit, changing it up, but also another year under those belts. Someone like Mo Toure will certainly help that. And I think just Marquise Watson, Jared Kite, who we just hired, and Keon Whitaker, who's on board now as a GA, they're doing a great job teaching pass rush, the fundamentals. And I think that's really what we've been able to do kind of in year two now. The year one teaching, there's a beginner's mentality, but you also have some stuff that's carryover. So getting to those fundamentals and doing that. But ultimately, we have to stop the run. If we stop the run, that'll create opportunities to rush pass.
Talked about stability. How important is that with the coaching staff that you have? You have a lot of those pieces back coming in. How does that change the dynamic from year one to year two?
Yeah, that might be the most important thing that myself and certainly Coach Gianna was just really working hard at, because we have some, I believe excellent coaches, top notch, and everybody's after them always, right? And we got them to stay. Credit to Coach Gianna and doing that for them. And it's just so great walking in the room and not having to the reteaching, the going back and starting from step one. So with those guys, it's really good. And I just think ultimately, from a relationship standpoint with the players, it creates trust. And that's the second part of the culture, and we've really done that.
What did you see from Tyrene Powell last season, and what do you feel like is the next step for him that you want him to focus on this offseason?
Yeah, I think Tyrene kind of fits certainly with the defense. What I said was just consistency. Reem really, he played a little bit before I had gotten here, but now he just went through the gauntlet of starting 12 games. He's a guy that's high up there. If he's not 1,000 snaps, he's somewhere up there in the Big Ten. And I think just him grabbing now the leadership role and being the mic. Like, he's got to go be the mic, and he's certainly doing that. Coach Heatherman, Coach Noonan, they do a great job with him. But the next step is just that consistency level for him. And he's a big dude, right? So straining to bend, all those things that a bigger guy kind of struggles with, especially late in the year. But certainly that depth should help that.
Maintaining the coaching staff together, you signed a 2-year extension in the offseason. What does it mean to you to have that, them wanting to keep you here for longer to be able to sign that deal?
Yeah, it means everything to me and my family. You know, I mean, Coach Schiano's done everything for us and given us this opportunity. And I'm Jersey. I mean, I'm from here. I love it. I love being here. My family loves being here. And I couldn't be happier to be here. And now we just got to go get it done.
That's good.
Mozart going to be primarily a linebacker, defensive end. What kind of role is he playing in this defense?
Yeah, you know I can't give you that. But listen, Mo is an unbelievable player. He led the team in sacks prior to getting injured in 2 straight years, I believe. But that's our job as defensive coaches, to kind of put him in places to the best of his ability and not do it so much that the other opposition would know what's coming. So we'll move him around. We'll do some things with him, but he's doing a great job wherever he's at right now.